Good morning, beautiful souls. Welcome back or welcome to The Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zelinsky, and I work in the spirit dimensions. As always, in all my videos or on my live feeds, simply take what resonates, and you're welcome to leave the rest right here. I'll give you all a minute to hop on here and get yourself comfortable. Um, Interesting shift since Monday. I actually sat for a little bit longer just to kind of feel in a little bit deeper as to what I picked up this morning with the energy update. We're coming into this incredible new shift as we get closer to the full moon on the 29th. And I'm just curious how many of you have been struggling with some headaches or feeling pressure, just kind of feeling pressured, whether it be from the physical world or whether it just be like just feeling under pressure. I'll just give you all a moment to just kind of lean into that a little bit because the pressure this morning seemed very interesting when I was sitting there. There's the pressure. Yeah, there's. Oh yes, here we go. Um, that's exactly how it felt to me when I was sitting there with spirit this morning and doing some channeling. Lots of pressure, both kinds. There we go. Interesting. And as I was sitting with spirit, the tree of life appeared into my awareness with a lot of growth that is coming forward as we lean into the end of September and into October. And as I sat with the tree of life, I became very aware of areas of repeat lessons and the pressure to change that. So I'm just curious if you have had some things that keep reappearing in your life, like, similar lessons or similar situations, or that feeling of, wash, rinse, repeat is kind of how it felt. And the energy that's coming in with this beautiful full moon on the 29th, it's an Aries full moon, and it's very magical, and it has a lot of creative and a lot of new energy coming in. But one thing that came out of my meditation this morning is we're coming into a big space of truly pushing forward that healing energy, to truly push forward that growth, that understanding, that letting go space. And we're always kind of, I talk about this a lot during not just full moons, but and new moons, but overall that need to kind of, taking a look at the lessons and putting down what we can't change and moving forward. But that's going to become amplified. It's going to become a lot louder. So when things start to become a lot louder, when we start feeling that pressure, when we start feeling that mindset that we're struggle to work through, whether it be just struggling with sitting in wounds, or sitting in unhealed, or sitting in that lack of mindset, there's a big push and a big pressure coming in to kind of lean out of that. Now the full moon, sorry, on the 29th is a very creative energy. So perhaps you may be feeling the desire to try something new, or perhaps there may be a creative part of you that you didn't even know that was there, kind of coming out a little bit more. Give yourself some time to play with that, right? Whether it be to try a new hobby, or to paint, or to write. There's a creative energy that's coming in. And when I sat there with why this all this creative energy is, there's a piece that's coming in that is going to help us heal and navigate, that's going to help us grow like the tree of life. It's going to help us grow. And in order to step out of that, and I'll use the word wounded mindset, or wallowing in what's not right, whether it be in the world or whether it be in our personal lives. There's this space of, if you can change that mindset, that wounded part of you will turn into a warrior of pushing through into new creative spaces and into new versions of yourself. Sometimes we cling on to what happened in the past. Sometimes we cling on to, yeah, but this, and yeah, but that. And this full moon is saying, yeah, that is part of the journey and part of your experience, and it is a piece of you, and it's also a learned. There's learning in that. There's momentum in that, and there's a space that you can take that energy and put it to good use. Yeah, right. So, and it's hard to take what we perceive as hard or negative, or if we've been a victim of something. It's hard work to take a lot of that out, and or take it with us in a healed space. Now, this full moon is bringing in a lot of fire energy, a lot of fire. So when you think about fire, it's a very powerful element. It has the ability to light the path. It has the ability to burn things away. Fire fire is a very powerful, powerful element. And this fiery energy that's coming with this new moon is asking us to cut or burn away old attachments to what's no longer serving us, and to give us that space to grow, and to give us that space of creativity, and to push us into that new space. Now, as we navigate through the rest of this week and probably into the weekend, you may have feelings that are bubbling up inside of you. You may have injustice feeling, or hard feelings and fair enough. Some things, we it's hard not to kind of stay in that. But the full moon is saying now is the perfect time to burn that, or to let that kind of go forward, and to step into that creative space within you. So a couple little rituals that you can do if you are more of a person that likes to do things. I'm one of those people. I like to do little rituals under the full moon. I do rituals all the time, but full moon rituals just seem to have that power. Is write that letter of what you need to let go, and give it a burn. Just kind of sitting in, or sit with a candle, and just visualize those, that stuff that you need to let go being absorbed by the flame of a candle. There's just this push of forward that's coming, in this, and I think it really is going to get much louder. And we'll understand that as time ticks by. But there's this, we always kind of latch on to the yeah buts and the past stuff. We latch on there. And just kind of remember that I said it, is that there's this push. Now, sometimes when we're being asked or shown things, and I'll say to spirit, like, why are you showing me this? And spirit will say, because you truly haven't given that permission to exit your body. And the pressure that you're feeling, so those of you who are struggling with headaches, or perhaps your eyes have been bothering you a little bit, it's just this forward of what needs to come out, and to be let go and released, and being able to pull through that creative energy. And now is the perfect time for visions. So thinking about what you want to come in, what you want more of, visualizing it coming into you, and working on that, alignment to it, staying more and more in alignment with what you want, and less out of alignment with what's wrong, or what didn't go right. And it is going to get loud, you guys. So and sometimes when things get loud, we kind of hermit back in. We kind of sit in that space. And what the universe is saying is, no, it's time to literally march forward. Now, the other thing that came up into my awareness during my meditation was a lot of things that you have been kind of um sorry, I won't blank there. A lot of the things that you have been kind of manifesting for yourselves, the things that you've been kind of working towards, that's going to be coming forward a lot, especially the things that you were kind of navigating in March and April, what you were kind of working on in the spring. There seems to be like this catch up. Here we go. Here we go. Now, the other thing that came into my awareness was the whole healer within you. We have the ability to heal ourselves. And I was really pushed to come back into that healer within you. You are the magic. You have the power. You have the ability to work on your own energy. And there's a big part of us that needs to kind of come back into that, especially as we're navigating through this full moon, is to look within, and to sit with your own guides, and to sit with your own healing, and to feel your own physical body and the energy that is in there to work on your own healing. It's going to be loud and clear. So take a look at what keeps coming up, whether it be repeat lessons, or whether it be, the push to move forward. Sometimes that involves other people. Sometimes that involves, creating new opportunities for ourselves. But we've got to start creating our own. We've got to start navigating into creating our own magic. And this full moon is going to bring that out loud and clear. It's like this loud and proud kind of energy that I really, really felt navigating through us. And you are supported. You're supported through, spirit, through your spirit guides, through your ancestors that have passed over. You're supported with your communities that you tap into, the people that you connect with. And I think that there's going to be more of that coming forward. And I've talked about this before, that whole community piece on helping each other, but coming back in within, taking bits that have helped other people, formulating our own creative way of allowing that healing to come back inwards. It's going to be a very interesting energy between now and the end of the weekend. So just kind of, I always say, just remember that I said it, and journal how it shows up for you. Is really interesting. Many people kind of wrinkle their nose up when I use the word journaling. I don't really want to take the time to journal, but when you kind of journal what's been happening with you, especially with energy, you'll have your own. Oh, there's the pattern that Lana was talking about, or Spirit's been talking about. So give the journaling. Oh, Tim loves journaling. Very good. Give that journaling, a fair chance. You'll be surprised what comes out in your own journaling. It also gives you a way to tap into a little bit of automatic writing when you just kind of allow yourself to journal. What do I need to know today? And just kind of listen and write whatever comes. You will often pick up messages from your own spirit guides through journaling. So give that a chance to be part of your spiritual practices. All right, so there I am with the energy update. I have to be a little bit mindful of the time this morning, so I'm just going to scroll back up here and have a read. Um, a lot of people are acknowledging the headaches and the pressure. It's very interesting. Lots of pressure, both kinds, says Aaron. Yep. A lot of validation there. Katie, I have, but I just started a new job. Enjoy the vibration of new beginnings. There we are with new beginnings. KS, with my kids, my entire life is a wash, rinse, repeat. Yeah, that's. I hear you there on the wash, rinse, repeat cycle. And it probably also means laundry too, with three kids. But I think so. I just want to tap into that a little bit with the wash, rinse, repeat. Is sometimes we do need to intervene in that repeat and just kind of shift things up as far as what brings us fun and what brings us joy. Remember to add into that, because it's really easy to stay on that repeat cycle. KS, I've been feeling I'm on the cusp of a cold, but it's cleared today. Odd. Very interesting. You mentioned that, because yesterday I didn't feel great. I had to lay down, which is very odd for me, and I felt like I was coming down with something, and I was actually in bed by I think it was about 8:45. I was out cold, and I thought, oh no, I think I'm coming down with something. And what I did though before I went to sleep is I call it my light surgeons, my healing surgeons over in the spirit dimensions, and I just allow them to come in and work on my physical well-being. And I woke up this morning completely fine, like completely fine, and extremely well rested, which is always a blessing for me, that's for sure. Um, Let me just scroll down here a little bit. I started painting again. I feel creative all of a sudden these days. Very good, Maruna. There's that creative energy. Uh, yes, thank you. It's very loud already. Excellent. Sometimes when it comes to spirit, I just want to pause for a moment and kind of tap back and look at all you guys sending me hearts. I love that. I love you too. Thank you for all those hearts. Quite often when we're going through things, and spirit showing us things, and we kind of, why is this happening to me, why is this happening to me? Spirit is trying to show us the areas that we need to grow forward from. And sometimes all we can literally do, and I will often grab a crystal or a stone. I'll literally say, okay, I am going to put that down, and I'll literally drop the crystal, or literally I'll do it with a stick. It doesn't have to be anything, it doesn't have to be a crystal. And I'll literally work on the mindset of putting something down. And quite often it's about dropping it, right? Just being able to drop it. I'm going to let that go. Lessons learned, forward I go. Use that as a bit of a trick if you do struggle with that. Aaron, head pressure and dizziness. Yesterday, I let myself rest. This morning feels lighter. Interesting. Very interesting. The physical, how we physically respond to energy is quite profound, isn't it? Our physical body does respond to it, right? Which is why we feel those things. And sometimes it is actually something physical, but quite often it is the energy that is around us. Yesterday, I decided to pick up a keyboard playing. Oh, I love that. I just now finished learning a portion of We Don't Talk About Bruno. I love that. Good for you. And there's that creative things that are those are the things that spirit's talking about. And when you think about when we lean into that, there is natural releasing that occurs in that, right? So if you're painting, you can naturally, sometimes you don't even realize you're releasing. It's the same thing for me. It's with hiking. I can feel really good and just go out for a hike, and I come back feeling even better. Just the releasing and the letting go, and whatever works for you. But the arts and creativity naturally brings us to that a clearer headspace, or a space of letting go. So well done. KS, I've been, oh, look at learning to play the guitar, says Dee Dee. Wow, this is quite magical. KS, I've been itching to start my business, but need to be more cautious. Um, Okay, yes, one thing when I as soon as I finished reading that, Spirit showed me that even little baby steps are forward, and being cautious and stepping forward into allowing it to unravel as it needs to. One thing that came up for me, that came up a lot for me as I was leading my way into full time with what I do, was there, I often felt like those little tiny steps. There was a time I was only doing readings every other Friday, and I was like, oh, I want more, I want more. And the more I pushed against it, the less that I got. So I just leaned into the allowing time. I worked full time anyway. I kept navigating through momentum with my own business and learning as I went. So good for you for trusting that. Um, Yesterday I decided to pick up a keyboard playing. Okay, with that. Um, we don't talk about Bruno. I love that song. Now it's in my head. Thanks, Cheyenne. Oh, there's Amber. Couldn't have shown up to the live at a better time, resonates so strongly. I'm glad that that helps you there. It's good to see so many of you joining us here this morning, by the way, as well. And Nisa's here. Oh, Kristen, that's awesome. I went to college for vet tech until mental health forced me to drop my level and go for a different, easier education. Well done for you there, Kristen. That's good. That's great for you, and I feel a lot of excitement in that for you as well. And sometimes, I'll lean into just kind of what Cheyenne's comment is sometimes what's not meant for us, it'll be very clear. It'll be very clear how that shows up, and sometimes we may have navigated through a few things and thought, well, this is my path, and Spirit will say, just try doing something different. And that's okay, right? There's been many times in my life where I've tested many different occupations and careers, and I've just kind of danced in something different to experience it, and I always find my way to where you're meant to be, and that will appear in many different ways. Is that good? Is that good as a fire sign? Yes, it is great as a fire sign. I've been tested these last few months. I'm also feeling warrior, and it's not over yet. The whole warrior piece. There's a warrior within us, and depending, and quite often there's also a wounded warrior within us, and how we navigate through that warrior energy, and being able to take that on vibrationally, and being able to tap into that. I'll tell you a little something that I do quite frequently do when I feel like I need to warrior up or turn up the warrior energy. And this may sound a little silly, but I'll share it with you anyway. Is when I feel like today is the day that I have to warrior up. When I'm getting dressed, and I always go to my heart space when I do anything. So with love, right? With love, as I'm getting dressed, I'll literally use my imagination that I'm putting on warrior gear, right? I'm going to wear a loving warrior gear, loving warrior shield, or loving warrior as I'm putting on my pants or as I'm putting on my shirt. I literally just visualize that as loving warrior gear. And because the vibration of warrior, you just want to tackle it from that loving space. With love, I'm going to fight through this. With love, I'm going to learn through this. So that's one thing that will often help me, and I still do it once in a while, is I'll put on my loving warrior gear to lovingly push through, to lovingly learn through, or to lovingly fight through what I need to learn. Learning is tough in this physical world. This is one tough school, and how we navigate through our lessons is so, so important. Amber, having a very emotionally charged morning so far. Allowing those emotions, it's really, I'm a big one in allowing emotions. The more we hold on to them and not allow them and to push them down, eventually we have that eruption. I'm sure we've all can nod our head to that. We've all been there where all of a sudden everything we've been holding on needs to go. And it's also very cleansing to be able to cry and to release and to let go. And one thing that's really important is sometimes the best we can do is take our emotions, we just take our emotions with us. I'm going to allow myself to feel. I'm going to allow myself to cry. I'm going to allow myself to have a day that, man, this is tough, but I'm going to warrior through it, right? And that's one thing that Spirit kind of mentioned, that I mentioned earlier, is the feelings and the wallowing and the open-mindedness to kind of navigate through that healing, right? And I think that it's okay to take that pause to say, today's a good day that I just have to cry and allow that exit, allow that release. Releasing is so powerful, and we're kind of programmed not to do that. So depending where you are in your journey and depending on your experience, little things like, be a big person and don't cry, or be a big girl, don't cry, be a big boy, don't cry. We kind of carry that with us, and we kind of hold on to that. And we also carry shame and guilt for having feelings and emotions. So that's why it's so important, to be able to have moments where you can release. I release all the time because I personally prefer to let it go as I'm navigating through it, because I've learned that holding on to it doesn't serve me personally, because then I have this huge eruption that can take a little bit longer to recover from. And that's okay if that's the space that you're in. That's okay. um let me just see what else I channeled here. The big push that's coming. I didn't finish. I had to go to the back side of the page, so my apologies there. I also really felt that this big push of transformation and using your own spiritual superpowers. That I really feel. I don't feel this winter is going to be as big of a hermit season as we may have been used to. I felt it kind of shifting. I feel it kind of shifting out of that, and your own superpowers are going to be accelerated. You are going to feel more of a push to step into that transformation, that higher self, that higher direction, taking the path less traveled in an elevated kind of way. I'm not feeling a hermit winter. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind as well. And it kind of made me excited when I was reading my automatic writing after my channeling. I was like, oh, good. I'm going to be doing a lot more this winter, which was very exciting for me too. There's also this whisper, and for some of you, it may be more of maybe a louder volume, but you may be getting this whisper about momentum and about change that's coming, and about preparing for that. So I'm just curious if anybody has felt like they need to prepare for some change, and it didn't feel negative to me. It felt like positive change, even though change can bring us into that space. Has anybody heard that whisper to prepare? And to for change. And sometimes change may start out as very rocky, very muddy, very cloudy. But has anybody heard that whisper lately? I'm just kind of curious there as well. Let's see where we got lots of irritations and frustrations. My friend is going through a gong show of a gong show ton of that energy. I try I really didn't want to say that word. I don't know what, but anyway, 10. Hi, Lana, and everyone. I didn't get a notification. I'm glad I caught the stream. That's interesting. A few people have mentioned that. There was also, I just want to mention, when I logged on to go live this morning, there was a new thing from YouTube about the monetization. I think YouTube is going to be interrupting with some of the ads. It's not me personally; it'll be YouTube. So I will give you a heads up with that now. Uh, Linda Quinn, do you have any messages for me from my husband? Um, when I lean in there, Linda, I instantly started to hear a lot of applauding. I feel like there's like he's cheering for you, and I feel like he's cheering for you because you have taken steps forward. When we lose someone that's very dear for us, and I just want to talk about grief because it never truly goes away. Even though we move forward, we may try new things, we may meet new people, we may be out and about, there's still that piece of us. And I think that he is acknowledging that big piece of your heart that he will always have. But he keeps telling me over and over, I'm so proud of you for the steps that you've taken and for the things that you've done. But he's also saying to me, please remind her that I'm not really gone. My physical body is gone, but I'm not really gone. So I don't know if you've been kind of sitting in that space of, and I get it, I argue with people who have passed all the time on this, is oh, here we go. Ads will run shortly for some viewers. I'm gonna see if I can there. I just hit the skip ad. Sorry. Um, I really feel here with this, Linda, is and I like I said, I argue with them all the time. To them, they're not gone. For us, they're physically gone, right? So there's that difference in worlds, right? So I really feel that if you can shift just a smidge over with, I know you're here and you're always here, because he's adamant that I'm not gone. So for what and so when spirit does that, it's a reminder that to kind of shift how we're looking at it. He's not gone. He's The physical body is gone, but his soul and his energy, and I feel very powerful with his energy. And I also feel that you have been very much aware that he's with you, because I feel him a lot, and he changes sides. I walk on this side and I walk on this side. He also has a great big smile for me. So I don't know if he had a big smile in real life, in the human in living life, but he definitely has this great big smile. I've struggled to embrace my choices and love myself for a while. That is a big one. Embracing our choices. So I want you to remember, yes, choice and free will has a big part of it. And yes, we make choices. And yes, all of everything in life takes us in directions. But what I'm hearing, I really need to say to you, with on that comment, Katie, is I don't feel you've made bad choices. I feel like you've made great choices that are taking you in the direction that you need to go in. Sometimes our choices bring us in things that we're like, well, I didn't think that was going to happen with that choice. But I feel like I have to cheer. I got to cheer for you. You have made choices that are taking you in the right direction. I think you really need to hear that, because sometimes choices can leave us with that upset feeling. Um, I love charging crystals and moon water. Yes, I do too. I do too. Um, I'm a big moon water person. I've talked about that several times. Absolutely. Linda feeling very down. He's 100%, and that's probably why he's so loud with that. Linda is, I'm here. I'm here. Right. He also has this. I can't stop at the smile, Linda. So, it's like this great big smile with him. My brother makes this journey with my mom very uncomfortable and sad. Dee Dee, that's a big one, because I know mom is working through her transition space, Dee Dee. And one thing that I really kind of have to encourage you to stay in your own alignment with your own journey with your mom as she works through her transition. Everybody has their own experience with a parent, with friends, with family, and they're working on their own stuff. They're working on their own healing and their own goodbye. And as sad as you may feel it, and just hold the space that the healing energy is there for them to embrace, and just kind of always move yourself back into your own lane so that you can have your own beautiful experience with mom as she's transitioning. I hope that that helps you there, and I am sending you so much love and light, my friend. I decided not to. Whoops! I decided not to continue and just graduate on animal caretaker. I now work at a horse stable. Oh, I love that, Cheyenne. I don't think I knew that about you. Horses are. I love horses, but that's more so because I feel like it's not the right direction for me, anyways. Beautiful and good for trusting, Cheyenne. Um, Could you shred it rather than burn it? Absolutely, Katie. 100%. Whatever resonates with you. And that's so important on your spiritual journey. Whatever resonates with you. And so, a lot of spiritual healers and teachers will give you tips. You can tweak it and make it your own. You can create your own ways of letting go. 100%. That is a great question, Katie, and thank you for asking it. There is no wrong way. Right. So as long as you're working in a space of love and light, there's no wrong way. And I think that's so important. It's the same thing with working with spirit and working with our spirit guides. People are often will message me and say, well, how do I contact them? How do I reach them? Just talk to them. Right. Surround yourself with white light and talk with them. It's very, very simple. So just whatever works for you, they hear you. So either way, they hear you. Whatever works for you as far as rituals go. And if a ritual doesn't resonate with you, you don't have to do one. You can just simply sit and close your eyes and say, I'm letting this gong show energy, I'm releasing it. I'm letting it go. It's whatever works for you. And that's so, so important. Other people have their experiences and what works for them, and we can share it openly with each other. And that's why I love so much when you guys chat on the chat and say, this is what helped me. This is what worked for me, because we can help each other learn through that. We can take bits and pieces and make it our own, and kind of learn and help each other grow and support each other through that. So absolutely, whatever works for you, right? To be able to let go. Um, so where we need to go. Last night I said I wanted to make a vision board. Wow, I'm definitely going to do it. Very, very well done. The vision part, that is great validation there. I've manifested new friends, says Bianca. Good job. Um, Katie, Shay, we are so similar. I run a horse stable currently while going to college. I love that so much. I spend quite a bit of time with the equines. I do a lot of work with the equines, a lot of healing work, and a lot of animal communication work. And it just brings me so much joy. I have not let my brother's negative energy be absorbed. Good for you. I'm observing from a distance, and I feel my inner mother holding me up. I love that. I love that, and I think that that is incredibly beautiful. One thing I just wanna add there, and not necessarily I just feel pushed to say it, Dee Dee. It might not necessarily resonate what you're going through, but sometimes when we're navigating through people and our healing with people, one thing that really helps is tapping into an energy, of motherly love, or our own motherly love, if you didn't feel it from that person, or, the best pieces of them, especially as they're transitioning into, the spirit dimensions. If there's been friction, it helps to align with a different energy. So beautifully said there, Miss Dee Dee. This catch up is so true. Last spring, I so badly tried to work on my musical side and got stuck in the fear, and now I'm suddenly working on it. Love that for you. I love that for you. Um, 10. One of the struggle I've been facing lately is when I receive creative ideas, I initially get excited, but overthink and plan too much. Yeah, so then the excitement dwindles. Yeah, I have, 10. I laugh because I have been guilty of doing a little bit of that too. Spirit will give me this great big idea. I get too far in it, and then I start overthinking. One thing that really helps, Tin, is go back to the journaling or go back to the channeling or the automatic writing and just kind of I will remind myself one step at a time because sometimes we get too far ahead. And when we get too far ahead, we're missing the now and the steps we have to take now. So one thing that I will often do, Tim, is I will go back to right now I'm here. What's step one? Right? I will always kind of bring myself back. It's very much human nature and normal to overthink or to get too far ahead of things. Where am I right now? The power of bringing ourselves back to the power of now is huge. And I still remind myself of that, especially when I'm writing workshops. What am I going to do in 12 weeks from now? I'm not in 12 weeks from now. I'm going to allow myself to be right now. Um, oh, another person made a vision board. Wow, I love how this all aligns. Thank you for the Blue Jay on Monday. It was spot on. So was photographing one all day. I love that. Beautiful. Um, Bianca Tin. Yeah, tarot can be difficult, especially when you read multiple cards at once with different meanings. That's when intuition comes into play. I use when I do tarot, I specifically lean always in my with my intuition. Yes, there are certain card meanings, and and every card has its own meaning. And you're right, 100% right. With every deck, the creator of every deck channeled, their own meaning as well. But you are connected, each and every one of you. Use your powers. Use your own powers and it really takes a bit of practice, but use your own powers. Okay, definitely. Oh, look at you guys helping each other on here. Excellent, excellent. Um, KJ, any messages for me? As soon as I read that out loud, the one thing that I really have to kind of give you is this whole head up piece. There's a reference here with head up and you are enough. So is there something that you're struggling with being enough or good enough or healing enough? Because I feel like I don't know if you're looking down on yourself or if that's I just have to literally push that head up. You are enough. Head up and proud. Like I feel like I've got to like align your posture with being proud of who you are and being proud of the journey and being proud of our lessons. Sometimes we lean a little bit, and this kind of goes for overall, not just for KJ, but sometimes I think that we do lean in with a lot of shame. And I didn't do that right, or I made that mistake, right? And you know how I feel about that word. It's all lessons. So, what I feel like I need to do is kind of shift that a little bit with I've learned that lesson and kind of lifting that head up as you say that and I feel like there's more than one person that needs to hear this. I'm feeling very powerful here that more than one person needs to hear it. Is I really feel that when we look at the learning, we've got to kind of look at ourselves as a toddler, as a preschooler, as a kindergarten student, or as a student where you're learning something, right? I'm learning and I just need to get that chin up. I have been learning to do that more recently. Thank you, Lana. You're very welcome, KJ. And I think, perhaps it's just a little validation that you're a work in progress. You're doing the best that you can from where you stand and just take a prouder stance on that. I really have to kind of get you loud and proud is kind of how they're giving it to me. Just loud and proud with it. Right, just and turn up the volume a little bit on that. We we lean so much into shame when we're, and this isn't just for you, this is all of us. We lean into so much into shame when we don't get something right, right? Or if we don't do something perfect, right? We do. We kind of lean, it wasn't good enough. I didn't do that well enough. But just kind of loud and proud it a little bit. And I think that's going to be part of our own big push with using our own superpowers is I'm learning and I'm here and I'm learning. Just be able to navigate through that a little bit. Um, that message resonates with me so much too. More compassion and less shame. Absolutely. I'm a perfectionist too, but it's important to remember that we need to make mistakes to learn, to celebrate when you do things right. Absolutely. The other thing is um when we are learning something and what works and what doesn't work, I always kind of navigate even the things that are hard or right because I need to learn. I chuckle because I have done my own oops in life. But the learning and the climbing back up, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I needed to learn this, and you see how that softens a little bit with some of the shame of I messed that up or that was a shit show. I needed to apologize for that. Right? I really think that we need to. I'm learning that. I'm learning how to get up again, and it just shifts a little bit. Someone's asking about intuition. How do we listen to our intuition? I've been struggling. So our intuition. So one thing that really helps is when you need to listen to your intuition, giving yourself a quiet place first to sit, right? To be able to just kind of sit and ask and kind of trusting is the big piece of that. I'm going to learn to trust my intuition. But I think sometimes we expect it to be an instant answer when we're learning how to tap into our intuition. I always say, I'm going to sit with that. So when I need to ask, whether it be a client reaches out to me or if it's something that I need to do, I need to sit with it. I also find that getting to know yourself really helps this your higher self, getting to know that higher self, being able to turn this off right here, our brain can get involved in with our intuition, and then it gets too hard to pull it apart as to what is my thoughts and what is my intuition tells me. And one thing with intuition 101, when you start off very slowly with good feels good, bad feels bad. Start very slowly. If trusting your intuition is new, start with those very simple exercise that I've talked about before in the past. Should I turn right or should I turn left? What do you feel? What comes to you? I'm going to turn left. Even though turning right might be the shortcut, I really feel I need to turn left. Trusting the feelings that you get and easing into that intuitive space if you're not used to working with your own intuition. When we overthink things, I'll go on the overthinking train quite often, and I'll have to, like, I'm going to stop the overthinking train. I'm going to give myself some time. I'm going to take it to nature. I'm going to take it to the sky, wherever you want. I'm take it to my spirit guides, and give yourself that chance to sit with it. And the more that you kind of learn how your intuition feels and what this feels like, the easier time you'll have to navigate through it. Your intuition can tell you, "Oh, heck no." Just and our intuition isn't always a good and fuzzy feeling either. And I think that's really important to note because some people think our intuition will always feel good. Sometimes our intuition will give us that sign of no, not that way, not that direction. And learning not to question it. If my intuition tells me, nope, I don't go, well, why? I will say, I'm going to trust that. No, starting really simple, real simple questions, getting used to trusting it and navigating through it from that perspective. All right, you guys, I know there is so many comments that I didn't get to today, but I do have to get out of here and move along. It's been working really well. So let's ask for a collective message from the animal communication book. What do we all need to know today as we navigate through our journey? We got a lobster. I don't know if I've ever pulled a lobster before, ever. So let's see what this has to say. Um, you're in the midst of a powerful process of transformation. Ah, okay. Sorry. In which you'll find yourself trying out different expressions of who you are throughout each phase. One of your biggest lessons right now is patience, particularly in learning to wait for whatever you need to come to you rather than pursuing it. You'll find a number of useful things by rummaging through some of the items you've had in storage for a while. Your best work will be done in the evening after the sun goes down. So, and I'm serious, I don't think I've ever pulled a lobster ever from this book. Um, but that first phrase is exactly what the first part of the segment today was with this whole transformation. You're in the midst of a powerful process of transformation in which you'll find yourself trying out different expressions of who you are throughout each phase. Love it. I love my mornings with you all. I think it helps me as much as I'm sure that it helps most of you. I love it so much. Dang you, spirit. Oh, Cheyenne, the vibration is so funny. That resonates. I'm a night owl. Oh, this is so funny. Big thumbs up if you've enjoyed your time here with me today. I appreciate all the thumbs up and the likes and the hearts. I love you all so very much. Thank you for hanging out with me. I will be here Friday morning. It's been my week has been a little bit less chaotic first thing in the morning. So this is the week that I can get on here 3 days a week. So I am all these funny faces here. I'm watching SpongeBob yesterday with Mr. Crab. Oh, that is so funny. We'll see you all Friday. Love, light, blessings. And as always, a spirit guided day. Much love.